Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 23 where we are driving with Haas, and our first race in the last episode was pretty exciting, pretty good, so go check that out if you haven't yet. Getting points is always massive early on in F1, and yeah, I'm really enjoying the save in F1 23, really enjoying the game. I think the traction and the improvements they've done on that have really helped, but we're diving in to see what sort of improvements we can make in our car, looking at all of them: aerodynamics, powertrain, chassis and durability. We've got 2,555 resource points, so we're not short on resource points at the moment. The advantage of starting as a team rather than doing your own team, and that's what we're doing in this save. It is my career as a driver. We're not doing the my team career mode, but we take a chance on the floor stiffening stays to rush those on before the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to see what we can do. We're having a little bit of a little flick and look round as well to see what is going on, and we're looking at some durability stuff, and we eventually do pick to go for the gearbox improved materials to try and improve some reliability, but we go for that one. That's going to be on after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and we'll get done from there. But a quick flick through the menus, I get a little bit confused about where I'm actually trying to go. I'm trying to get to this chart here, the progress history, but I leave it on there and then come out of it, because what I then realise, I can go and upgrade my perks as a driver, which we do. So you can see at the moment Nico Hülkenberg is a 11 acclaimed driver. We are only a level 2 acclaimed driver, but rather than increasing my acclaim ability, if that's even a phrase, we go in for power mapping to try and reduce engine wear, because I don't think I'm very good at managing my engine wear in the game. I just sort of go up through the gears, go down through the gears. So we get power mapping and put that on to reduce engine wear by 10%. But now we can't unlock the next level of that until we get to level 8 of that. So now we go through, advance on, see what we can do. The cockpit weight reduction goes on, the adjuster bracket does not go on, and then we get a lovely little review of the department with the aerodynamics team, where we've got to decide if we're going to go to a charity or not, or we're going to honour commitments we've already got with the dynamics department. We're a nice guy, so we're going to go to the charity event and just annoy our own aerodynamics department, because that's the right thing to do, isn't it? When a charity's involved, you don't want to be the man that doesn't give to charity. But yeah, so we go through, we have a look at everything that we've been going through, just double checking. Nico Hülkenberg looking very good at the moment. I accidentally go into the store page, which is a bit of a nightmare. But then what I wanted to do, finally we get there, is to go and have a look at the R&D. So the front wing adjuster bracket did fail, so we're just going to start that one again, and it will be on after the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, just in time for Australia. But then we go and have a quick look at the before the race. You can see here we get our weekly resources, we get our floor stiffening stays done, and we go and have a look at the R&D just before we get into the hot lap. We go back to the R&D, if I remember rightly, and we have a quick comparison of how everybody has been improving through the teams before the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, because there is a chance that teams can improve all of their systems, because we've got all these upgrades coming through. So you know that other teams are going to be improving their cars as well. So what we do is we go through, we have a little look, and it will zoom in on that right now, and you can see that everyone's pretty progressing at a similar pace. We're the third best car on the track at the moment, but we've taken some good steps into this, and we head into practice 1, 2 and 3. We get all those done, and then we get into qualifying. So qualifying in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix then, I only show you one lap, and that is from Q1, just so that you can see the track and see what it's like. We go in a bit steady at the beginning here. It's a very fast track. It's a track I actually quite enjoy, lots of high-speed corners. It's a technical track. It's not as technical as Monaco, Azerbaijan and places like that, but it is a very fun track to drive around, and we get our lap started right now as we get it underway in Q1 as the sun is setting. And yeah, we're just going to show you one lap in this qualifying session from Q1, and then we'll see how we get on. But yeah, you come into this nice, that first corner is a bit of a nightmare when you're coming down that start finish straight with DRS open and at a proper hot lap speed, it's incredibly hard to brake and get through it. But then you get a nice wiggly S-bends. You can drop a gear. Sometimes you don't have to for this bit. You can drop it a bit later on. But we're keeping it all within the track, which is absolutely lovely, and following that driving line reasonably well, to be honest. And we actually set a purple sector 1 because we're the first person out on track. We have a little bump with the wall on the way in to the apex, just judging that slightly wrong, but no damage. But Oscar Piastri now sets the fastest lap because he's finished it. We go very wide, try and correct it to come back round, and Lance Stroll sets the fastest lap through that slow little, oh, I say slow, you're still going very quickly, but it's a slower S-bend there. You come to I absolutely love this bit because you're flying around in 8th gear, you drop down a couple of gears and then get back on the accelerator as soon as you can and just sort of throw it through the corners. It's absolutely lovely. And you're coming around here, come around the final few corners, you line up with the Big Tool Hotel as you get your point in under the Aramarico sign, put the brakes on and turn into the corner, which I have a habit of taking this one a bit wide, but we get the foot down on the floor and we come down to the start finish straight to see how we're doing. Now it's not going to be P1, we're not setting purple sectors, but we do set the fastest time of the qualifying, which is weird because we didn't. Well, it's all gone purple now for a purple sector. But we end up finishing 7th in Q1, getting through to Q2, which is absolutely lovely. And then in Q2, we end up going 3rd fastest, one with 132.4, putting us into Q3. But in Q3, it's a bit of a knock back down to reality, to be honest. We have a quick check here. Nico didn't make it through, but Q3 is 5th place, so not a bad place to start in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where track position means quite a lot, to be honest. So, yeah, let's dive into the Grand Prix, see how we get on.
Good afternoon, or for us, good evening, as we're under the night lights of Jeddah. The floodlights are on and so is the pressure here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Goose, Sainz, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ocon, Joe, Gasly, Albon, Bottas, Norris, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Sargent and Oscar Piastri. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one. A bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, so with the intro done, we're looking at strategy, and again, I want to try and find a way if we can get those soft tyres on, but what we actually eventually go for is starting on the hards and then finishing on the mediums. Finishing on a faster tyre, I'm sort of hoping will put us in a better position to end the race. So we decide on the hard to medium strategy, pitting on lap 7, which should pit us after everyone else as well, so we get a bit of an overcut, I think. But there's 5 red lights and we're waiting for the signal, and we are away in the Saudi Grand Prix here in Jeddah. And well, Max Verstappen and Leclerc get a great start, as does Fernando Alonso on our inside, but going into the first chicane, we're going to have that inside back from Fernando Alonso, and we're settling in behind Charles Leclerc, getting our foot onto the pedal and trying to make this work. Hard braking into the next set of S-bends, and Leclerc just, they can just take that corner slightly better than me with colder tyres. I can't really drive cold tyres, as you're about to see, because we go well off the course and then get back on still in front of Fernando Alonso somehow. Pretty sure that would have been maybe a penalty in real life F1. I'm not too sure. Well, I mean, we entered the track safely, so not too much to complain about. But yeah, it's not a bad first lap we put in, actually. It's a good effort, a decent effort, and we try our hardest to stay with Charles Leclerc. That Ferrari having a little bit better. I think we just need to work on our downforce and our aerodynamics. I think that's what we need to do to make this car quicker. We've got a Ferrari engine in it. It's a very quick engine. I just think it's everything else around the Haas that means it's just not performing as well as other cars. And we are over qualifying at the moment in this. I think I need to up the difficulty again. Maybe whatever the website's recommending me to put the difficulty as, I up it by a couple of difficulty points or something, because we are over qualifying for our position. I also do set the car up in a sort of qualifying setup as well. It's like a time trial qualifying setup, which can affect tyre degradation a little bit more and everything like that, but I just want to set the fastest lap I possibly can in qualifying. And talking of fastest laps, we stay in 5th as Lewis Hamilton takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on lap 1. I'm sure that will be changing hands quite a lot as we get through the race. We go really deep, and Fernando Alonso has a look on the outside, but we've got the racing line and can get the traction and just keep him out wide and then hold the inside. And we're a bit all over the place in these first couple of laps, and I'm putting it down to the cold hard tyres not being heated up. I think I might need to start doing the formation lap to make sure tyres get to temperature before we actually start the Grand Prix. It was always a risk to do this starting on the hard tyre, but onto the midway point of the second lap, and we're doing pretty well. We take that long left-hander well. There's a big battle going on behind us where Sergio Perez, Alonso and a Ferrari, it'll be Carlos Sainz, they're all fighting behind, and you can just see it in the rear view mirror that Perez just overtakes Alonso at that point. So it won't be too long until that Red Bull is hot on our tail. And going forward to lap 3, just one lap later, you can see here as we come around this left-hander again, we go a little bit wide, and that gives Sergio Perez a chance to get the foot down on the pedal a little bit quicker than us, and he is going to be on us in DRS because it is open on lap 3. We're actually taking these corners not too badly. We're taking them okay, but you just know that Sergio Perez is going to be so rapid in that Red Bull, especially with DRS. It's absolutely ludicrous how quick they can be. And I think Verstappen has taken the lead of the race as well, because Hamilton has dropped into 3rd, and I think George Russell goes up to 2nd. But you can see in the rearview mirror, Sergio Perez is just there. Verstappen drops into 3rd, being overtaken by Hamilton, and Perez goes up our inside with the power of DRS. He makes that one easy. We go to potentially have a little look of a lunge down the inside. It makes us brake a bit late, and that gives Fernando Alonso a chance. But again, we've got the traction, we've got the racing line, and we get past Fernando and say, not today, Mr. Alonso, or not right now. Anyway, but our DRS pulls us back into Perez. We have a little look for a lunge down the inside, but again, think about it. Just think twice about it, because Perez is going to have the racing line. We weren't alongside him or even a little nose in front, so he didn't have to give up the space. So sensibly we pulled out of that one, but we then stick with Perez for a little while, a few little laps. He does pull away from us ever so slowly, and our battle becomes with Alonso. As you can see, we take these corners much smoother now. Our tyres are up to temperature, and we're actually putting in a bit of a belting lap here, sticking with Perez on lap 4, which is really good, I think, in a Haas. We just need to get that slipstream, make sure we're not doing it. This is the difference with tyres and temperature. Look how much better we're racing on lap 4 compared to what we were doing on laps 1 and 2. It's absolutely brilliant, and we're not getting too affected by the turbulent air of Perez, although it does show. But it's these straights here we just can't keep up with Sergio Perez. Even when we get our DRS open, as it is right now, we just can't keep up. You get to this end of the DRS zone, we take these corners well. Perez still like 0.6 of a second ahead of us, and he's doing a really good job of managing us. But these straights without the DRS, he just absolutely blitzes us. And well, I think we actually have DRS open now, but then we get to the final corner And again, a little bit of trouble, not having enough rotation in the car. A little bump off the wall gives Fernando Alonso a chance to get right on our gearbox behind us. He comes up, we try to squeeze him a little bit and then think we'll give him the space. He's got the DRS down that left-hand side. He goes for a lunge, but then again pulls out, realises he can't make it. And we head into lap 5, still ahead of the very experienced Spaniard and behind the Mexican Checo Perez in the Red Bull. But all in all, I'm pretty happy. Only losing 1 spot in 5 laps to much faster cars around us, I think is pretty impressive. I know we've got Alonso and then Sainz sitting behind us as well, but we go wide again, which will give Alonso a little bit of a look in. And then we get to lap 7 and we've actually put space, a bit more space between us and Alonso. As their tyres are starting to drop off, Perez is long gone, 3.4 seconds in front. Alonso hanging on to DRS with us just, but we're going to come in here, go round the corner, which we're taking slightly better into the end of lap 7. Fernando Alonso just coming in. We're being told to go into the pits, and that is what we do. And Fernando Alonso follows us in, and we come in here, and we're going to be pitting onto the medium tyre. Now, we need a good stop to get ahead or stay ahead of Alonso. And you can see everybody pitting at similar times. We get an optimal turn in as well, which is lovely, and a very good change. Nobody jumps us in the pits, and we're doing pretty well, to be honest. We come out in front of Alonso. Albon still there. Perez pitted on the same lap as well. Hamilton is on the hards. He's now 5 seconds away from us. But yeah, it's good. We actually, with our pit stop, we made a lot of time ahead of Alonso. He's now 2.1 seconds behind. I don't know if he got caught somewhere, but you can see cold tyres again causing issues around some of the other corners. We just need to manage them a little bit better, and there you go. We start to dial them in and realise what I can and can't do on cold tyres. It's something I've got to learn. It's something I've got to get used to. But as we get into lap 9, Alonso's closed the gap a little bit, but we got a yellow flag ahead of Max Verstappen. Is out of the Grand Prix. There he is on the left-hand side, right there. He's going to get a DNF in this one, which is going to gain us a free position up to 5th. And yeah, Alonso still about 2 seconds behind. We are just about getting these medium tyres now up to temperature and into the racing zone, which is good. And it shows, right? When you see those corners being taken at those high speeds, it does make a difference. But with the AI being on fresher tyres as well, it will be interesting to see how it goes. These mediums are going to drop off quicker than Fernando Alonso's hard tyres. But Fernando Alonso has got issues of his own. As we jump forward to lap 10, he's been overtaken by Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, and both those drivers are slowly closing the gap on us. Again, I think it's down to the fact they're just in better cars, because I'm not driving badly at this point. We're having a good position. We're driving the course well. It felt good. It was handling well. I just think it was generally our car just isn't as quick as those around us, especially in a race setup. Like when we're doing the qualifying, I think it's fine. At one point, right, in Q2, we had the 3rd fastest car. So we were doing all right, but we just need to manage it, I think, a little bit better in the race. I need to be aware of tyre deg and tyre temperatures a little bit more, which is just getting used to the game. But yeah, we've still got that 1.5 second lead over Carlos Sainz, but there are 3 laps to go. So it's just a case of, is he going to make up that time over those 3 laps as our medium tyres start to drop off a little bit. But yeah, we're driving well. I'm happy with how it went. I'm happy with how we're throwing the car into corners, getting the best acceleration out of it, the best traction we can get. And again, we're keeping the cars behind at the moment at a pretty solid distance behind us, and this is going to be a personal best lap for us as we come round into the final corner, which is always a section the AI gains a bit of time on me. But yeah, personal best lap, which I'm very, very happy with. Our previous best was a 1:35.7, and that's a 1:35.0, so we knock off 7/10 from our previous personal best. But on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, and you can see Carlos Sainz's tyres are just giving him that little bit of extra edge now onto the hard tyres, and he's right up behind us as we make a little error through the S's, and we're coming into the final DRS zone now. And this is it's a wonderful part of the track, actually, because you come around this corner here, you drop the 2 gears, and I nearly hit the wall. I nearly spin out of the exit. That gives Carlos Sainz his little window of opportunity, and he comes through, and we've just got to make sure Alonso isn't going to get us, but he's 5 seconds away. So that's not going to happen, as George Russell wins it for Mercedes. And we're going to have a bit of a sprint to the line here with Carlos Sainz, but we hold on and we take 6th place in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at Jeddah, and I am very, very happy with that. I think that's a superb performance in the Haas. We only lost out to Carlos Sainz with a little bit of an error at the end of the Grand Prix as well. So a fantastic finish. Really happy, but driver of the day goes to George Russell.
Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after seeing George Russell celebrate then, you can see there, we're down to 6th. We lost 1 spot. We started on 5th, went down to 6th. Not too bad at all. I'm surprised Lando Norris didn't get driver of the day, jumping from 15th to 8th, which I think is pretty good. But then I guess George Russell going from 4th to 1st is also mightily impressive. It's another 8 points we pick up for us as a driver and for Haas as the constructors. Nico Hülkenberg have another race to forget about, really. But you can see there, George Russell leads the way, 43 points at the top of the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen in there as well. And Haas sit comfortably in 5th with 10 points this season. Lovely. And as the highlights play behind my head, because I'm back on the screen now, a really good race, really enjoyable Saudi Arabia. I'm looking forward to Australia next. It's a bit more of a standard circuit, I think you can call it, maybe a little bit more like Bahrain, where we obviously showed we can drive really, really well. I'm looking forward to having Australia as a start, because I found Saudi Arabia really difficult. I'll be honest, a bit of a behind the curtain bit here. Saudi Arabia, the first race start we did, that was on the video, wasn't the first race start of the game. I found it really difficult to get up to speed and judge the AI's braking distance before going into the first corner. So we had, I think, 3 attempts and then got that recording done. So, but yeah, all in all, a really good race. I hope you're enjoying the series. I am. I'm absolutely loving F1 this year. I think because I've got more of a better setup in where I'm living at the moment in Singapore. This is an interesting one because Perez hit my back tyre as I went past him, so it gave him the hand. But yeah, now that I've got this setup here in Singapore where my rig basically stays out, my wheel and gaming chair stays out with a different TV, it allows me to actually record F1 videos a lot easier than what I was doing in my old place. So this should be a bit more of a consistent series, which would be lovely, wouldn't it? As yeah, it's been really good, so I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Like, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave me a comment as I bash into the wall in there. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back for Australia.